introduction. Thank you so much, madam. Thank you so much.
Welcome, ma'am.
The FDP which we are going to start is in the topic of quality teaching and learning in higher education systems. The topic given to me today is a very interesting one, I must say. It's innovative teaching methods. Teaching and learning is a joint process, I must say. Teaching learning process is a process wherein we deliver a knowledge to the students, or I must say, not students in the current world, but learners. So, teaching and learning process can be defined as a transformation process from knowledge of teachers to students. Can we go to the next slide, please? So, this is what we have for the teaching learning process. If you remember, we have in the coming slides, we remember our classroom sessions. Morning 7:30, 7 o'clock, or 8 o'clock, we just go to the colleges, sit there on the benches, try and learn what the teacher is explaining us with a very good positive environment. But the only thing was sitting on those hard benches, listening, continuously listening to those lectures. And sometimes it creates a boring environment. But nowadays, due to innovative techniques, these things have overcome. We have overcome these tech things, but still we enjoy that kind of learning. Emerging educational practices and growing demand from education researchers and learners appear to be a driving shift from the learner and context centric teaching approach. Higher education is transiting Higher education is transiting delivery from predominantly teacher centered mode to modern methods of education, or modern or learner oriented education, I must say. This change is primarily being facilitated by the advent of information and communication technology. Of course, ICTs play a major role in changing this scenario. Curriculum design, delivery, and using online mechanism mode of delivery. This is one of the technique of modern education, what we are right now. There are different types of teaching methods. Basically, we have divided this into two. Can we go to the next slide, please? Types of teaching methods we have two: the conventional method and the non-conventional teaching methods. Conventional are also known as traditional methods. Non-conventional teaching are modern innovative methods, what we are going to deal with them now. Let's just have a brief explanation of methods of teaching on conventional and non-conventional ones. Next slide. The methods of teaching we have. First one, if I go, is non-conventional. That is traditional method. It is also known as back to basics, or it is also known as customary teaching. Customary teaching uses old methods of referring to the notes, like textbooks, lecture methods, notes memorization, and recitation techniques. I think we all belong to a generation where we still have a habit of writing notes when the teacher dictates something, or when we are in a session, or when we are in an online class too. Or even, I must say, when we go to Google and take something from the net, we have a habit of writing down. Nowadays, the technologies have been changed to cut, copy, paste, but still we go with this technique as well. So, traditional teaching mainly focuses on textbooks, syllabus, lecture notes, memorization, and recitation techniques. Delivering education through a traditional format sees no priority in catering to the rich and diverse knowledge of the learners. As we are forced to be fixed as per the syllabus and curriculum design given by the higher authorities, we are fixed there. Nowadays, learning is more critical thinking, but in the olden traditional days, critical thinking was not given that much of emphasis. So, a diverse change in the education modes, delivery methods have changed the learner's outcome. But traditional formats are also good, which are back to basics. It refers to the method involving an instructors and the students, where knowledge is being passed from the instructor, teacher, that is, to the students. Traditional teaching approaches are generally teacher directed, where students are taught in a manner that is conducive to sitting and listening. Of course, if you refer to a theoretical class, like, for example, if we teach, as we belong to commerce, me, so suppose there is a theoretical class of business communication or business management. The teacher has just going on continuously. They have a theoretical approach towards a topic in the old classroom session methods, which are very rarely where technology was or ICT was being used continuously. So nowadays it's being a shift. Can we go to the next slide? We have the characteristics of conventional methods. Learning from memorization. Of course, we all have gone through this schooling, college, even. We learn from memory. I can tell you, or it's a personal experience, that sometimes we don't understand the concept. We or the students also go in for just memorization of the concept. When we come to teaching, we understand the concept in a more clear manner. Learning is abstract during those times. Learning is more theoretical in the olden times. The teacher decides the course of learning, where we have specific syllabus from schools and colleges, maybe from the boards and the universities, but we stick to those kind of curriculums. And the teacher is under continuous, this is a practical approach. The teacher is under continuous pressure of completion of the syllabus. Interaction among the students is there, and because they follow the old school classroom formats, sitting on the benches. Conventional teaching strategies are seat work, where we are in the classroom for 7 to 8 hours in a day. Students learn through listening and observation. Of course, they have the continuous listening power. I don't know how much. I'll tell you. I'll give you an example for this. We have lecture method, discussion method, and memorization. If you have heard this kind of sentence where a picture depicts 1,000 words, if I go on telling you 1,000 words, you will hardly able to understand one sentence out of it. But if I show you a picture, you will be able to understand a more in a more better fashion. Even if you have an audio visual content, that will be more beneficial as compared to the normal listening classroom sessions. I hope we agree on this. The second method what we have is non-conventional teaching methods, which are also called as the innovative and modern teaching methods, which we follow now. Methods that involve the use of technology, ICT, that is, animation, special effects, and are generally learner self directed and interactive in nature. Nowadays, we are not student oriented. Now we are learner oriented, where we try to see that the learner understands each and every concept in detail that can be explained to you in a theoretical manner or with an audiovisual effect, animation maybe along in the slides. Special movies are being come up, YouTube channels are there, special effects are being given so that the you learner understand the concept in a more good manner, easy manner. So they are more learner oriented, and in the near future it is more using artificial intelligence techniques. The information and communication systems have made innovations in the field of teaching and also made a drastic change from the old paradigm to the new teaching learning techniques. I must say, if you all have heard the concept of MOOCs, online classes, course contents are being delivered, put there on and they have been given lecture by schedules. We can complete that and generate a certificate, and we learn knowledge from there also. We gain knowledge from there also. The modern teaching method is effective because a learner learns through sociable, interactive, and environment and becomes an independent learner. In school days, what happens is children are specifically lifted, like given only the content what they have. So the contents are specific. Student doesn't understand what is a part of syllabus. But nowadays, a part of syllabus is the first thing what we give a priority. Can we go to the next slide, please? Now we start with the major contents of the innovative teaching methods. First, let's go understand the term innovative techniques or innovative teaching methods. The world has shifted from a brick and mortar classroom to online and hybrid learning. We are facing this now. I like after COVID, this has become the major mandatory thing, I must say. Imagine, like I gave you an example in the beginning, staying in a boring class with the voice of teachers echoing in your ears, trying to lift your eyelids to pay attention to what the teacher is saying. Some of them might be also sleeping back behind in the classrooms. Nowadays, many teachers are trying to keep their classes as far as possible interactive from that scenario and letting the students get more involved in learning by finding different approaches to teach them. The education field is changing by so fast, means that you need to keep yourself adapted to the modern strategies of current world. If you can see the diagrams, small diagrams are given. Audiovisual techniques are modern methods. Creative teaching. Previously, teaching was only limited to the classroom sessions, like the blackboard, the teacher, the chalk, and the duster, and the students with the one textbook. Nowadays, it's not the pattern that way. Nowadays, that is, of course, a mandatory one along with the blended modules. We have never thought of going to an open area, making students understand. Suppose if I want to explain the basic concepts of nature, we never thought of going to an open place, making students sit on the grass, showing them the trees, how they grow. If a seed, how does it come up? If a seed, how does a seed grow back on its own? These all can be very, very nice, well and nicely explained with a physical part of going to the nature. Okay, can we go to the next slide, please? Innovative teaching. Unlike traditional teaching, which mainly focuses on how much knowledge you can pass on to your students, innovative ways of teaching, they dig deep into what students truly take away from your teaching during lectures. So now it's not focusing on what you give them, how much they take and how do they take and how will they interpret it. Feedback being the most important mechanism. There are all they are all about using new techniques and strategies which more mostly focuses on student centric. These innovative techniques encourage students to join proactively and interact with their classmates and the teacher during the session. One-to-one sessions, what we have with the students. They can be online also, we can better concentrate. Students will work hard, work more in a better way that meets their needs better and can help them grow faster. There is a quote given with that child photo which is there. The best teachers are those who show you where to look, but don't tell you what to see. If you remember that small part from that Dronacharya session in Mahabharata, where the Pandavas were given training by Dronacharya, and he was aiming the fish eye to be taken into consideration. He just showed them the way, this is a fish, and you have to find out what you have to look there. So, this is what the quote basically gives us the meaning of. The best teachers are those who show you where to look, but don't tell you what to see. So, that is our portfolio, like the students or the learners, to adapt maximum from what is being given to us. Role play, we have such kind of things. One more example I would like to quote here is research. If we are into research field, or even nowadays the students at school levels are being given opportunity for going to research work. Research not only book oriented, but what is the practical applicability of that research topic, what you conduct? How are the organizations using them? How they fulfill their suggestions, the outcomes? What is the basic problem we study in a research, and how will we suggest to the industry, manufacturers, or in client society on the whole, how they will implement them and we get our output? So it's research is more focused on practical approach and usage of what we are doing, not only the bookish knowledge what we have. If somebody must be doing their PhD and all, this is the first basic criteria what they apply for. Can we go to the next slide, please? There are various innovative teaching methods which are now being given emphasis on. There are various things we are going to explain them in detail in the next coming slides. A few name them: interactive sessions using virtual technology, using artificial intelligence in education. We are not in a generation where we are still into that chalk duster, but we are focusing on a togetherness combination of methods and artificial intelligence, blended learning, use of thinking design process, crossover, peer, flipped classroom, cloud computing, jigsaw techniques, inquiry based. We are studying these into much more details with examples and pictures in the next slides. Can we go to the next slide, please? The first one is interactive lessons. Interactive lessons are taken up from the old classroom sessions itself. I hope we all, if we are into teaching or we are into working, we have all witnessed this that once the speaker starts speaking, like in this session too, there are hardly chances given to the listeners to question them or get back to them. We'll do that in the end of the session as we have been told. So the speaker continuously goes on giving you multiple inputs regarding the topics which are being explained. Not looking into that the session is becoming interactive or no. One side speech is boring, I must say, because I have witnessed it. So interactive sessions include giving you a problem, let you all discuss among themselves and come back to a solution where the speaker and the listeners both speak for the problem and come back to a solution. Students are your innovative learners. Of course, that's a must. One-way lessons are in traditional and some are sometimes exhaustive. Of course, one-way sessions, if you continuously hear, the hearing capacity of an individual is very less. If I say 10 words, you hardly pick up 2 words out of it. This is a normal and individual level capacity. And the way the other contents are being dropped. So it becomes quite exhausting and boring. So the speaker should create an environment where the students should feel encouraged to speak up and express their ideas. This the speaker has to take into consideration to do all this. Students join their activity classes and do many activities by raising their hands or making the session more interactive uh, by connecting on online various platforms and join you. Not even one or two speakers, students to speak, but many of them giving you ideas on the problems given by you or the topic explained by you. So an interactive session is two-way session where the speaker and the listener both should give input and come back to a proper solution output. The second one which you have is using virtual reality technology. This is the most important one, basically used for all the generations, I must say, beginning from the primary to the and post graduation sections. Using the entire enter a whole world of new digital experiences via virtual classroom techniques. We are sitting here. We can jump into a forest which is in Africa. Look at the animals, have a personal experience. The 3D movies which are being developed, if that is being used in education, the outcome is fabulous. Sitting here, like sitting in a 3D theater cinema, playing a virtual game, seeing that the car is just near you and approaching towards it. So, seeing the real world objects in this kind of mechanism on your screens, they are flat screens, but you feel that they are coming out. If you want to go explore a Milky Way, you see that the solar system is just next to you. You can put your hand onto it. Enter a Jurassic era. I must say that movie has done a wonderful job where dinosaurs have been a meters away from you. Reality technology is very costly, but it can make your sessions and lessons into a blast, and all the students, it is a worth price what we pay for it. But yeah, it's very costly, and using those mechanisms at such levels becomes little difficult, but they do a fabulous job and the outcome of it is wonderful. Can we go to the next slide, please? Hmm. Using artificial intelligence in education. It's a misconception of all the human beings that we feel if technology comes to any front, our jobs will be endangered or we might lose this. But it is not that case. Artificial intelligence assists you in doing things, not replaces you. Okay. This method is surprisingly widespread used during these days. Using AI doesn't mean that it replaces you, but it takes you into consideration, and the computers and the robots are moving around and teach our students. That's the most important thing. The most important thing where they move around us and they teach us. It helps you to deliver lectures and reduce your workloads by personalized courses, instruction to the students the more efficient manner. You probably use the familiar concepts like LMS, removal of plagiarism detection, automatic scoring, and assessment of these products are used with AI generated products. So far, it has become proved to be a lot of benefit giving benefit to the teachers. And the scenario of it is invading the education in the field of earth and other stuffs also. Many educative movies have been developed using such AI and virtual reality technologies. I must say, if you Google and you get the list and you can watch a few of them, that would give you a great insight. Point number four, blended learning. Blended learning is a combination of both traditional in class training and high tech online teaching, a blend, a combination of both. It gives your students more flexibility to create effective studying environments and customized learning experiences. If we are busy now, as the lecture is being recorded, for example, we are busy now. Somebody who has joined this course and cannot be attending it at this time, this recorded lecture can be shared as they do it on the YouTube, and we can watch it later. So what is being explained in the session will be able to be understood by the next person also. Blended learning. Record your sessions, put them on YouTube. Earning is one source, but the benefits to the learners. In the technological driven world, it is nearly impossible for us to neglect such powerful tools where internet and e-learning has become the backbone of education. Things like video meetings for teachers and students, to manage courses online, online sites, and to interact and play using many apps for studying purposes have taken the world into its on its fingertips, I must say. So blended learning is a combination of online and offline teaching together. Can we go to the next slide, please? This is the most common one which we do on daily basis, but we don't know it. Use the design thinking process. This we do in all the kind of learning, not only in the classrooms, but if parents teach their students, children at home, they do it. This is one of the solution-based strategy to solve problems, collaborative and spark students' creativity. There are 5 stages in it. Let's go with the first one. Emphasize, design, give an idea, put an idea in the student's brain, leave it. Develop empathy and find out the needs for the solution. Define issues and the potential of addressing them. See how they come up with the definitions which you give them, the potential addressing. Give them the basic knowledge, give them a problem. Then leave their minds, ideate, think and generate new and creative ideas. If you have 10 students in the class, all those 10 will come up with new, different ideas of the problem what you have given them. You want to decide, for example, if you want to decide a picnic spot for the classroom, you'll get 10 different places from 10 different students. And how will they arrange them? That's a more enthusiastic way. Just an example. Prototype. Make a draft or sample of the solutions to explore the ideas further. They will give you a ready prototype. How you will walk with those steps and how will you reach the destination. For example, picnic wala. Test the solutions, evaluate and gather feedback. The prototype which you have made, okay, work on that, run that, and see what is the outcome. If there is a problematic situation, you will use it in the other method too. In the second prototype, you will remove that drawback and create a new one. So this is trial and error method as well, what we can understand. You can replace those steps up and down, but this is a very good method for the trial and run. The next one, what we have is, next slide, please. Project, uh, project-based learning. Some of you are writing some things in the chat box. I'll come to it. Let me finish these methods. Project-based learning is one of the most, I think somebody has written companion-based. This is what we have. Project-based learning. We have projects given to students at a higher education level. But no, I must say no, this is a misconception that projects are given to higher education students. Projects are given right from junior KG. The students don't do them, the parents do them, but the students learn a lot from the project-based understanding education. So this is what you have for the generations today, where I must say we were not in all this. If you remember, how students are being given to learn uh, grains. We used to make a chart of Rabi and Kharif crops, stating that these are the seasonal crops in this season. Make a small packet, stick it into the book, into a big drawing paper or a craft paper, and bring them. So we used to collect all those grains, make small bags, staple them, name them, seasonal crops, Rabi and Kharif. This is the most best exercise what we used to do in school days. So I get identified with the different type of seasonal crops which we get. That's a project-based learning, for example. So this is how the technology has taken over it today. Project-based learning, all students do work on projects at the end of the unit as the unit is over. Project-based learning also revolves around projects. There are given, I'll give you some example of the projects, but it allows students to solve real world issues and come up with new solutions over a more extended period. Project based learning makes classes more fun, engaging, while students learn new content and develop skills like researching, working independently, giving a small topic to each one of you, and with others, critical thinking, etc. I'll give you one small example here, which will help you to analyze how can this be done. In this active learning method, you work as a guide and your students take charge of their learning processes. And studying this way can lead to better engagement and understanding the spark in creativity and promote lifelong learning. This, I'll give you a small example for project based learning. There was a group of MBA students who were left in four different directions in a particular area, and they were given a task to stand at the most crowded roads in a particular area, four or five of them, and they were given tasks of just to check which color cars and which brand cars are moving more in that particular locality. Now, I would just give you why this has been done. You must be saying, what a funny thing is this, and what kind of data will be collected from here? How will it be being used for research? It's a very good activity which the college students do, or anybody can do. I stood in the most crowded area in a particular location, and from morning 9 to 9 in the night. And I counted the number of cars which were coming and going, the color and the model. These were the two things, variables, which I wanted to consider: the color and the uh, brand of the car. Like it was Mercedes, or it was BMW, or it was Wagoner, or it was Maruti, anything. At the end of the day, I collected the data, all four of them, and they reached to their particular organization or the place from where they got this project. You know why this data was being collected? For manufacturing and production of different brands of cars, right from the production unit. This research was just conducted so that the manufacturers could easily gain knowledge on which color cars are being moving in the market, so they'll manufacture them the most, and which brand is more successful in the market. Say, for example, the data I collected was there was the movement of white color cars were majorly done in this particular road from this time to this time, and the Maruti cars were in major numbers. So Maruti got an indication that they are holding the market, and in that section, which section of cars was most popular and which color cars Maruti should produce. This was one day data collected only from one particular time to other, and only four sections. This is the research and development team, what they do, and this is how they educate their learners. So this was a great project completed by a specific institute. Next, inquiry based learning. We always enter a class with what we are supposed to do and we start the blah 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 session. Instead, put some questions in front of the learners. Inquiry based learning is a kind of active learning. Instead of giving a lecture in a class, you start the class by providing a few questions, problems, or scenarios to them. See what they come up with. Every brain is working, every child has a developed brain in the developing process. See what is the outcome, what they give you the solution of that particular problem. It also includes problem based learning and doesn't rely much on you. In this case, you are more likely to be facilitator rather than a lecturer. You provide knowledge to them and try to solve their problems and give answers to what the questions are being asked. In this way, I must say, the learner and both the student and the facilitator, or the learner and the facilitator, gain knowledge in a lot more efficient manner. Students need to research the topic independently or with a group. It's up to you to find an answer in this method to help them develop problem solving and research skills a lot. Can we go to the next slide, please? Jigsaw puzzle. I bet many of us must have played this jigsaw puzzle, and we have one also in this. So, at least once in a lifetime, we have done this. Okay. Similar things happen in a classroom session in a jigsaw technique. Here, this technique and the project based techniques are simpler, are very easy. Divide your students into small groups, give one subtopic or subcategory of the main topic to them, instruct them how to explore and how they come up with the different ideas. Each group shares their findings to form a big picture, which will enlarge your knowledge and the topic that they need to know. The host, the feedback can be also given to the students. So this is how the whole session works. But this, or a very simple example of the jigsaw one is, we have all played the game. Now alphabets given to small students and to make words out of it. We have those games online available, but that is a screen time, increase screen time. But children, the screen, the alphabets are being arranged on the screen, and the students have to just put the missing alphabets and come up with new words. I'll tell you, I have seen students playing this and creating new words which are not there on the screen also. And you also so towards it, you also start playing this game, word crunch and all those, and where you create new particular words which are not there, and you gain marks onto it. So this is a very lucrative methods where you classroom into sessions, into groups, and give them a topic and understand their output on it. The next one is cloud computing teaching. Cloud computing teaching is, the name itself is strange, but it's a way where connect the teachers and the students connect together and allow them to access classes and materials from 1,000 miles away. Like we are sitting here and we want to develop a Milky Scheme project galaxy from the galaxy. So we'll sit here on the desks with our laptops and computers, and we'll find out the data from long sources, connect to different universities, and their students learn their perceptions and have the interaction with other universities in the foreign countries and come to a particular interaction and arrange your project outcomes and discuss the what we say, the feedback outcome also. So it is little different from online learning, but it requires a lot of interaction between lecturers and the learners, or the lecturers and the learners will learn. There is no need. Only two university students can tie up and understand each other's out, output based on it. Can learn anything, anywhere, and want to finish the courses. Can we go to the next slide, please? We have the next one as flipped classrooms. Flip is a process which is a little bit more exciting and effective learning experience. Flipping. Before the classroom, students need to watch videos. You just today I'll tell them I'm going to do this topic tomorrow. And what are they going to do? What are they going to do is have a basic learning of the tomorrow's topic. Or I'll forward a YouTube session to them. Let them go through the content and come back to me tomorrow. Watch videos, read materials or research, or have some basic understanding and knowledge of what is done tomorrow. Class time is devoted to doing so-called as homework, kind of typically what we say, as well as a group discussion. Debates, on the other hand, led to student activities. This strategy centers around students and can help teachers better plan professionalized learning and evaluate students' performance. If I give you, for example, if I give you an material content, what I'm going to do tomorrow, have a watch on the session. So you know the basic idea of what is being going to be taught tomorrow in the classroom session. We'll have a basic understanding of what is there. And tomorrow we'll understand in a more better manner as we know the basics. Because the instructor is always there. It's just a homework of what we do. Like for example, if we go for an interview, in the interview we have a basic knowledge about what the company does. Nobody tells us to do this, but we do that. We have a Google look onto what the company is all about, their production, their clients, their customers, their services, and then we go for the interview. So what we expect, we know. What they will demand from us, we know. What is their production services, etc., we know about it. So a flipped classroom is a better, more vast learning experience as compared to others. Next one is peer teaching. Nothing better than a peer teaching. Peer teaching, I hope we know, students among themselves teach each other. I'll tell you the best example. When we were students, we didn't understand, or by memorizing, we sometimes clear the examination. But when it comes to peer classroom sessions, peer teaching, students sit together, okay, and make each other understand of what the teacher has already taught in the classroom. So, discuss. Students understand and master knowledge better when they explain it clearly. So, you better understand what the child has understood and what the child is explaining. When presenting, they might be learned beforehand and speak aloud what they remember. But to teach peers, it is that they have understood the problem and they come back to it. If in the picture you can see this one child teaching all other children, so this is what you called as peer teaching. Peer teaching is the concepts of the student has been more clear, and he or she has been explaining it to the co-students. Students can take and lead in this activity and by choosing the area of interest by the subject. Giving students this kind of autonomy helps them to develop a well feeling of ownership of the subject and the responsibility to teach it right. So we give them this one topic by you to be presented in the classroom. You'll also find that giving students the chance to teach their classmates boosts the confidence and encourages them independent study and improves their presentation skills. These students can be leaders, I must say. I'll tell you. Okay, can we go to the next slide, please? We have only three, four more, so that continuously speaking will be going away. Crossover teaching. Do you remember how excited you were when you were in the classroom and went for exhibitions to museums or a field trip? I hope we all must be. Picnics arranged, or a part of picnic, nowadays it called as educational visits. Aren't we excited now too? Yeah, I'm going to take you to the Milky Way, or I'm going to take you to NASA, or I'm going to take you to a museum. So that creates an aware interest in the students. It's always a blast to go outside, have fun, and do something and learn out of that instead of looking at the board continuously or screen continuously. Crossover teaching combines the experience of learning in both the classroom and the place outside. Explore concepts in school together, then arrange a visit to a particular place wherein you can demonstrate how the concept works in a real setting. This will make our concept more clear. It would be even more effective to further develop the lesson by hosting discussions or assigning group work in the class after the trip. I hope you are very much familiar with the word of industrial visits. Am I correct? Industrial visits. We teach the basics in the classroom of how does the manufacturing process work, and we take students for the industrial or educational visits, and we teach show them the real world, the production, how the robotic mechanism works, how the industry produces goods and puts them in the warehouse, and how they are being sold out. So this is a basic strategy what we do, and this gives an insight to the learners and they become more enthusiastic about the learning kind of sessions. Next one, we have personalized learning. While a strategy works for some students and some may not, it may be not effective for another group. Some strategy for some groups, some for other. For example, group activities are great for extrovert students, but some of them might be introverts, so that would be a nightmare for them. This method tailors the learning process of each and every student. Personalized learning, although taking more time to plan and prepare, helps students learn based on their interests, needs, strengths, and weaknesses. But to achieve better results, if we focus on personalized learning for each and individual child or the student, they might be having a fun time during learning and maybe reaching to an ultimate goal in the more effective manner. To acquire knowledge in this session, in this kind of teaching becomes more easier for them, and which will help them in the future life. One-to-one sessions are done online also. If children need them or the learners want them, one-to-one sessions are being done. Can we go to the next slide, please? I come up here with the final thoughts, with the modes of, not on the conclusion, but the final thoughts. The first point, no, it's I'll tell you, it's a preparation of the content, how it is being prepared by the instructor. The second one is presented and delivered in the most efficient manner, which will keep the learners available on the screens or on the classrooms. Techniques, principle, creation and evaluation of the content which is being delivered. Problem solving, specially. Problem solving techniques are most effective methods. The next point is the creative creation of cognitive psychology based learning processes. Creation of the content and evaluation of the student becomes the most effective manner, because from here we will understand how well the learner has been understanding the basic concepts. Evolution of learning processes to check its value. Nowadays it's the most efficient manner that we have AI coming into picture, artificial intelligence, wherein you can be assessed online and the grades will be given to you. I hope we know the academic bank of credits, though assessment is still physical, but very soon it will be going to Google or going to the AI. Can we go to the next slide, please? Huh. This is the most proactive thing what we should do, the learner and the instructor, I must feel. We should listen, both the parties should listen, understand. Okay, we nowadays what we do is we don't listen, we don't understand, and we react to a particular situation. Read aloud of what is being taught in the class or what is being given as a summary to you. Write it if possible, because nowadays in the Google, in the online world, writing skills are being abolished, I must say. We don't write, so we should have that habit of writing. After writing, present those skills, present those contents, see how well you can present what you have written, what you have listened or understood. Next point we say is discuss. Now, what is discussion? After presenting or after writing, discuss it among the peers, among the with the instructors, with the listeners, so that whatever you have coming up to a particular conclusion should be understood by the learner. Then only your feedback mechanism completes. So a facilitator or an instructor should listen and understand what are the activities to be given, read it, write it, present it, and have a discussion on it, so that the feedback is most important and effective on the content. Can we go to the next slide, please? Huh. The last, I'll come to a conclusion here, not final thoughts I've shared with you. Conclusion may, I'll go with the second para first. There are a lot of teaching methods nowadays, and depending upon the kind of students you have, okay, you will have to change your approach and strategy depending upon the kind of students or the learners you have. And we cannot say that one is better than other, these techniques, but choosing the right one will create a good background for your students is important, because that decides the effectiveness of learning in your classroom sessions. So, such strategies will help you enlighten the students and give them a powerful presence of in maybe individual one, blended one, flipped classroom session, or AI using techniques, audiovisual techniques, or many more. In this way, this well thought modern day learning is a complete interrelation of the concepts and ideas along with the ways of teaching the students. We'll come to a fruitful session only if we all do this. It also indicates that these practices have direct involvement with the students' achievements. Yes, you can see the results and the skills developed after following the approach. Such strategies can help foster students' critical thinking analysis and skills, which can lead to improved problem solving and decision making abilities in the long run. In addition to this, innovative teaching strategies can help improve students' retention, and they will pay more attention in the classroom sessions. I'll have a small quote here and with an example. If a student doesn't understand physically something which is presented on the board or being explained verbally in the classroom sessions, we can have a good kind of presentation with the figures or with the audiovisual effects or with the YouTube sessions, a link provided there. So that when you look at the screen, you look at the pictures, they will be more easily and ably understood to you. One more example I'll quote here and I'll finish my session. tomorrow maybe we are working, and maybe some of you might be working, or maybe in a process of getting jobs, or whatever your backgrounds are. If you want to present something to the higher level management, for example, if you give plain figures of profits for last 5 years, in 2019 it was 20,000, in 2020 it was 15,000, in blah blah figures you give them a table, and your job is done. Or you write a paragraph, the profits are highly increasing. It will be effect it will be nicely presented. What you wanted to give to the end side, on the other side it has reached. But if you present this in a graphical format, or in a pie diagram, or in a bar diagram, the management only has to look on to the year and the bar diagram which goes upside up. So there is no need of an explanation, or there is no need of an paragraph there, or wording. Just a diagram is more than sufficient, stating the years, stating the upward flow of your profits. So I would conclude here with the thought of, there are various teaching methods in an innovative field, innovating teaching methods. It specifically depends upon the classroom type, the design, the session, the learners, the ability of the learners to come to a mechanism, which one you have to teach, and why you want to take up this particular method to teach the learners, I must say. The facilitators has to come to that particular level. I would like to conclude here, and I would want you all to give me some questions so that I can also increase my knowledge with your answers.